Hey guys, this is a blog that I'm doing. It's talking about Kyle Busch and what went down with the sponsorship and everything. And after the Ron Hornaday incident, when Kyle Busch hit Ron Hornaday and intentionally put him in the wall under caution, thus messing up both his cars, Kyle Busch has got to learn to keep that temper under control. It's not going to help him by retaliating like that. It's and This time, not only did NASCAR get involved, but the team and the sponsors got involved after Kyle Busch got parked for Texas. And I believe he learned his lesson after watching Michael McDowell drive that number 18 Cup car around for a while. I don't think the nationwide race really bothered him that much, but it was the Cup race that really you know, did it. I think sitting out for the Cup race was what spoke to Kyle. Of course, the nationwide series might matter to him almost as much as that too. But I don't know. I think the Cup being parked for the Cup race is what really spoke to him, because he came to the team and asked them to sit on that pit box, and he apologized to them for his actions, and his sponsors, a lot of his sponsors expressed all of his sponsors expressed their disappointment, but only one of them said something that concerned the fans and the media, and that sponsor was his most important sponsor, the M&M sponsor for Kyle Busch's Cup team for Joe Gibbs Racing. So, yeah, that brought a lot of scare and a lot of joy. Scare for the Kyle Busch fans and fellow competitors, and joy for the haters at the thought of Kyle Busch being gone from the Cup Series because of not being able to have sponsorship for a ride. But unfortunately for the haters, the sponsorship deal was figured out, and Kyle can still race this weekend at Phoenix. He was not scheduled to race the nationwide race at Phoenix. He was scheduled to race Homestead. I don't know, but I do know why he was taken out of that. It was despite what people thought not long after it being announced that Denny Hamlin would drive the 18 Z-Line car. But Coach Gibbs revealed that him and Z-Line both stated that it was their part. They both had a part in the decision for keeping Busch out of the nationwide car because they wanted him to focus on the Cup car. He was put on probation by NASCAR. I forgot to add. He was put on probation by NASCAR, and this probation is not pretty. If something was to happen to where Kyle Busch retaliated like that again, like if anything happened that made Kyle Busch want to retaliate, he would be suspended indefinitely, which is a long time. Not forever, just indefinitely. I don't know if that's forever or not, but it's a long time for a race car driver to be out of his car, that's for sure. But yeah, I believe Kyle Busch has learned his lesson after sitting and watching at Texas. But he got fined $50,000 also for what he did. And yeah, it looked like his sponsors were going to back out and just leave Joe Gibbs Racing completely. But it was just M&M's and Mars who really said they were going to do anything like that. M&M's Mars did come to the conclusion that they did not want to sponsor Kyle Busch for the last two races of the season, but they will still continue to sponsor him in 2012 as planned. They said they hope their actions help Kyle Busch realize what he did was wrong. And I believe that he does. I believe Kyle Busch really does realize what he did was wrong. And sitting out Texas, I believe, really helped him out there. I also believe that this will be a defining moment in Kyle Busch's career as far as learning from his mistakes. That's one of the benefits of being somebody like Kyle Busch. Hopefully, he'll learn from this mistake and not do it again. So that said, DW said it best: if you don't respect your competition and the sport, because the sport doesn't need you, you need the sport. That's what DW said. And if you don't respect the sport or the competition, then eventually you're going to get kicked out. And then you're going to realize how much you need the sport and the competitors and the team and the sponsors. You have to respect, and that's what DW was getting at on his video blog. And I'm a big DW fan. I enjoy listening to DW talk. Some people don't, but who cares? But yeah, DW knows what he's talking about, because Richard Petty, he said that Richard Petty at one point in his career told DW that he needed to learn how to respect his fellow competitors and everything, because DW, he was pretty bad too. Whenever I hear that he was pretty bad about getting into stuff with other drivers all the time. And Petty told him, gave him his word of wisdom, and it completely changed his career, which I am willing to place a $5 bet that this will help Kyle Busch better himself in not only his life but his relationship with his wife. It'll make him appreciate what he has more. Not saying that he doesn't appreciate anything, because I don't think that could be any further from the truth. I believe Kyle Busch appreciates stuff, but he just needs to learn to show it. Kyle Busch is not like this heartless jerk who's always out there to wreck everybody. Somebody says, Kyle Busch wrecks somebody every weekend. Oh, really? Yeah. He wrecks somebody every weekend. He wrecks your imaginary friend every weekend. That's what happens. Kyle Busch has actually been pretty clean this year. I mean, there's been a few spots this season where he's had run-ins with people like Harvick. Of course, Darlington, I still place part of that blame on Harvick and Boyer for that. And, that Kyle Busch hitting Harvick's car and putting him in the pit wall, that would not have happened if Harvick would have stayed in his car and left everything alone. That he had to be an idiot and get out of his car and try to punch Kyle Busch in the face. With his being a pansy and keeping his helmet on while doing it. Props to Jimmy Spencer for that. And he also got the crying towel for that week, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I also heard that Kyle Busch offered Ron Hornaday to drive the 18 Kyle Busch Motorsports truck full time, which Ron Hornaday he was gracious that Kyle Busch offered that. It was a nice gesture to him, but he didn't want to leave Chevy, and he already had some things lined up for next year anyway. But it was really nice of Kyle Busch to offer Ron Hornaday a ride in that truck. I don't know if he'll race Homestead or not. I hope he puts Casey Kane in the truck so he can just focus on the Cup car. But anyway, I like Casey Kane. I hope he gets to drive the 18 truck one more time. But anyway, that's my blog. That's what I think about the Kyle Busch situation. So thank you, and God bless.